Hey everyone, this is Scott from Forgot to Grow Up. Welcome to another edition of ReWatching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Today I'm talking about Season 5, Episode 6, Fun and Games. I'm just going to be starting off with the plot summary and then talking about my general thoughts after having just finished rewatching this episode. So yeah, the plot summary for this episode says, down in the station, the Kree have harvested some of the youth for an unscheduled Teragenesis ceremony. Flint, a friend of Tess, experiences a successful Teragenesis and is taken into hiding with the team by Yo-Yo. Tess is killed and hung for Flint's disappearance. During a dinner with the other bidders, Fitz quickly proves himself as a formidable character, earning Cassius' respect. The first exhibition is then held between Ben and May, resulting in May being sent to the surface while Ben is killed for lying during Daisy's interrogation. Meanwhile, Grill finds the team and holds them captive until Flint saves them using geokinosis against Grill, killing him. The unexpected arrival of Cassius' brother prompts Sonora to battle Daisy for her exhibition, during which Daisy, Fitz, and Simmons are able to subdue the others and escape. During the escape, Simmons proposes to Fitz. So yeah, this episode was another great episode of this season. Fitz is back in the team. He's brushing elbows with the scum of the universe, and they all think that he's the worst of them, and he gains Cassius' respect, and he tries to propose. He does try to propose to Gemma, but Gemma's thing was on, and I love that scene, because I'm just sitting there. I remember the first time watching it, and you're just like, oh, they're reunited. And I remember I didn't really put together at first, like, you forget that these things that her hearing is in, especially when you watch it week to week, you forget that her hearing isn't always on. So just watching, I remember when I first watched that scene, that it was just like, oh, and then you find out, then you're like, it's so them. It's very much a them thing, even though they're right there, they're still not 100% together. And it's very much kind of, I don't know what the word is for there, but anyways, I just really enjoyed that little bit, Fitz trying to propose, her not hearing them then spending the whole episode not being able to talk or anything, and then at the end, finally being reunited as they escape, and then first thing Gemma does is propose to Fitz, and of course he says yes, but he also tries to tell her that he did try to propose before, and I just love those two. It was great. I'm happy. I like that part of this episode, but there's some other things I like about this episode. The fact that it was directed by Clark Gregg. Yes, Coulson himself took a time out of his, filming this episode to direct it as well. And yeah, I don't really know much else to say about that. I just thought it was an interesting fact. I don't particularly know how to tell what directors do. I'm not that deep into it. But I just thought it was interesting. I think this might be the first episode that he did direct in the series, but I'm not 100% certain about that. Anyway, I just thought that was a cool little fact. What else do we have? We have Flint being introduced in this episode, which when you first watch this episode, first time through, didn't quite, you don't quite pick up on the significance of his character right away, but on the rewatch you'll be like, oh yeah, you're gonna do some stuff, man, try to put the world back together. So yeah, that was interesting that he was introduced and goes through Teragenesis as soon as he's introduced, and then Yo-Yo saves him, of course, because Yo-Yo's got a soft spot for other Inhumans and for kids, don't we all? So that was interesting. I really enjoyed the May versus Ben fight. I thought that was interesting. I like that I both like and don't like the fact that they had May injured this whole part, during this whole part with the Kree, in this fight against Ben. She's, still got the injury going on. She's still limping around, and I think that attributes to one line actually Coulson says in this, which was that if her leg was fine, she'd be able to stand up to the Kree by herself. She'd be able to handle the Kree, which we have seen before actually in this show. So it makes sense that they introduced that as kind of like a handicap for her, so that she's not as full power in a sense, even though she doesn't have powers, but she is May and she is kick-ass, but she's got one less leg to do the kicking ass with. Well, not one completely less leg. Her one leg's injured. So I just thought that was interesting that they kind of point that out again in this episode, so that you're still okay, yeah, if she was up to full strength, she could definitely hold her own against these people. So I like that they kind of allude to that, and that she still is able to, hold her own against Ben for a good amount, even though he's both telepathic and doesn't have a hole in his leg. Like, she's got a hole in her leg. And they're making her fight and stuff. She gets no rest. She comes straight out of the framework into this. Before she was in the framework, she had some other injury. I can't remember now because it was like a month ago I watched that episode. But yeah, she's just going through a lot. And then she gets sent to be roach food, which we know Enoch saves her in the beginning of the next episode. So at least she gets a little rest before they have to get back to saving the world and all that fun stuff. I just feel bad for May right now. But what else do I have written down? I don't know what that even says. Oh, Ben is killed by Casillas. Yeah, that was unfortunate to see. But I'm also kind of like, well, if you guys go back and fix the future, fix the past, doesn't this change? But then it's also like, well, is a different timeline, the whole thing. But yeah, Ben's out of this episode. What else? Flint controls rocks. I have to admit, when I first watched this episode, I did not make the connection to the fact that if he can move rocks, he can, put the earth back together. And the fact that, that's a little bit of a spoiler, I guess, for the rest of the season, but not the rest of the season, but part of the season. But yeah, it's interesting on the rewatch to kind of be thinking about that, because you're just like, okay, yeah, why didn't they think of this sooner? But I guess they got more pressing matters at the moment. They got to get rid of the Kree before they can go put in the earth back together. / the team is more thinking about fixing it in the past. I come up with stuff that it's only my concern. Anyways, yeah, that's pretty much all my... Oh yeah, last thing I had was just Daisy versus Sonara. I thought that was really another cool fight. It's just a really good one. It's always fun to see Daisy fight different people. She, I like the fact that she doesn't overuse her Quake powers. I like that they did introduce at one point the fact that she does have a limit, in a sense, on how much of her Quake powers she can use without causing damage to herself. So I don't know if that's still a thing because she's the gauntlets, but anyways, I still enjoyed that fight. And I like that Sonara is, you can see like how quickly, Casillas both turns on Sonara and being like, yep, go fight, die, and how quickly she's just like, well, fuck you then. And it's just like, I just like how even subtle it is, because she doesn't say a lot of words. She says 3 words this whole freaking season so far. So I just enjoyed that little dynamic too. But yeah, that's all my thoughts for this episode. Be sure to let me know in the comments below what you liked about this episode, or if you didn't like anything about this episode. Thanks again for joining me today. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Have a good one.